What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life.
And Katie.
On today's video, we're going to talk about the things you need to know before you leave California. As we know, a lot of people are leaving California, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about leaving California. So we're going to tell you 10 things you need to know before you leave the beautiful state of California.
Number one is don't sell your home if you don't think you can come back.
Right, this happened to me and Katie where we sold our property in South Florida and tried to use the equity to buy something better, but we knew that if we sold that house in Naples,
We knew if we sold in Naples, we weren't going to come back to Naples.
right, there was the prices were going to be higher when we decided to come back, and it wasn't going to be possible. So if you think that if it doesn't work out, you might want to come back to California, really consider whether you're going to let go of your property or not. You can rent it for a while, let some family members stay there. I mean, by the time you pay real estate fees on the property you're selling, on the property you're buying, it's a huge number.
You're paying real estate fees when you sell. You're paying real estate fees when you buy. There's some taxes that come into play. And if you're doing that the next year, how much money are you really putting into this move that didn't work out?
Right, because you're going to have to pay real estate fees when you sell your house, when you buy the new place. So if you're leaving California, really consider whether selling your home is the smartest option. Just think how much more comfortable our lives would be right now if we still owned that house in South Florida. I mean, we could probably rent that place out for more than we could pay rent here, which means it would pay our rent here. So it doesn't really make sense if you own a property in South California or another really expensive area to sell it just to find out a year later you don't like the new place.
Number two, Californians are hardworking people. They work 2, maybe 3 jobs just to pay their rent.
Right, so we have heard that Californians are just trying to line up for food stamps and getting free stuff off the government. That whole narrative is very misleading. Californians are some of the hardest working people. The high price of living in California is a clear indication that the people there have to work double, if not triple. But sometimes I feel like the people that are leaving California are the ones that don't want to work that hard. So we don't really get to see in other states, like when people move from other places like California to the South, we see them and we don't think they're hardworking people. But in reality, those people are actually like not a really good representation of everybody in California. What would you say? You think people in California work hard?
I can definitely see how hard they work. I saw how much it costs to go to a restaurant, get groceries, and do everyday life, right? You're paying so much more to live in California than you would anywhere else.
So don't let people in the states you're moving to think that California is this freeloading place. I don't know where this concept comes from, but I want to say I'm from Florida, and believe me, I have not seen another state that has to work as hard as we do in Florida because it's expensive here and jobs don't pay. But please, don't put out that message. But keep in mind, too, the people that are leaving California are the ones that are trying to escape the rat race, so maybe they're getting off that vibe, but I don't know. But just realize that Californians deserve a whole lot more respect for how hard they work.
They're working so hard. We have to respect how much they're paying versus how much they need to work.
Right, it's not easy, and the narrative that's out there that California is just this freeloading state is so wrong.
Well, we have the example of Alabama. You've got rents that are like $650. People
Right.
are living off the government.
Yeah, food stamps,
Yeah.
disability.
The first of the month, it being a holiday.
Right, yeah. But it's the people in California that are lazy.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
working
You're
2
paying-
to 3 jobs.
You're
They're
paying
real lazy.
you're paying a $600 rent.
In Alabama, they're not even on the first job, let alone the third.
Yeah, how many people you meet in Alabama working a night shift at a 7-Eleven talk about this is my third job?
No,
No.
you don't see that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, you see people like waiting for their food stamps, waiting for the first of the month. if
I saw a
anything.
hotel worker sleeping at the front desk in Alabama.
Right, and it wasn't because they were on their third shift.
No. Number 3, Arkansas is not the answer.
Right, you are from the best state. You have mountains, you have beaches, you have snow, you have the perfect weather. You're coming from the best state that's ever existed. So when you move to one of the worst states in the country, Like, you're not ready for that. You need to move to a place that has a lot to offer because,
Number 4, there is a reason why other places are cheaper.
yeah, it's like you get what you pay for. And a lot of times Californians think they're going to have $200,000 left over. There's a reason why there's $200,000 left over. Katie, what would you say makes Arkansas be worth $200,000 less than California? Arkansas?
It's Arkansas.
Right, yeah. First of all, yeah. You got to understand that to build a new house in California, there would be like 90 or 100 million people in California if they didn't have regulations, because everybody wants to be like, nobody wants to be in Mississippi or Louisiana. You get what I'm saying? Like, if somebody ends up there, it's because of some type of hardship.
Yeah, like there's no real regulations on housing in Alabama. Like you can build a house without permits in Alabama.
Yeah, and the wood could come from your own backyard. It's literally there.
You don't even have to register the house that you build in Alabama.
I know that sounds crazy for you in California, but you can literally just buy an empty lot in some of these counties, build your own house, and not have to register it. But again, who the crap wants to live in these places? Of course, California would have like 1 billion people living there if they didn't regulate stuff. So all the regulation in California is really to make sure that it doesn't turn into like Mumbai, India or something. If California had Alabama's building regulations, it would be like a Bangladesh. Like there would be houses stacked on top of houses pretty much.
I'm sure that there would be some falling houses.
Number 5 is pretty much that California has a lot of regulations. But what Californians don't understand is that those regulations are because there's so many site-specific things going on in California. Like, they don't really need to be driving around in electric vehicles in West Virginia because the wind blows across the mountain and all that diesel smoke they're burning, they're never going to see it again. And I think while the regulations in California make a lot of sense, in California, if people in Texas had the same smog problem that Phoenix and California have, they wouldn't be driving around in F-350s. There wouldn't be a single person left.
There is so much smog in Phoenix, Arizona. I can understand why a lot of these places out west have those regulations.
Right.
But for that guy in West Virginia and his F-350, he ain't giving that up because of California's issues.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that in West Virginia, you're not going to run out of air. But you are if you're covered in a valley with mountains and stuff like they are in the West Coast where you can't really breathe in some of these cities. And then you got the elevation factor too. So a lot of people on the East Coast just aren't going to understand all those regulations. So if you're leaving California, explain to people that the reason you drive a Prius is because you have smog, because your city's located in a valley with absolutely no air circulation. I think a lot of people in the East Coast think it's more of a political thing, but they don't realize that it's really an environmental and like site situation thing that's going on out there. They're just not gonna have the same experience here. If everybody in Midland, Texas were to move to Phoenix, they wouldn't last 24 hours. They would just all, like the next day, yeah, it would all...
I give them 12 hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a political thing. It really isn't. It's just an environmental thing. And the people on the East Coast just don't get that. So, like, explain to people stuff like that because I figured that out as soon as I got to Phoenix and I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh, now I get why they're driving around in Priuses.
Number 6. San Francisco is one of the best cities in the U.S.
Right. I mean, people say California and specifically like San Francisco, it's the homeless people and it's the crime and they're breaking into cars. Dude, San Francisco is absolutely, like, out of all the cities we've been to in the United States, wouldn't you say that San Francisco is like easily top 10?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, like, what are some of the things in there? Like the Golden Gate Bridge.
You got the Golden Gate Bridge. You got the Oakland Bridge.
Getting rid of that would make San Francisco safer.
Definitely.
What are some other stuff that's in San Francisco?
Well, there's the Painted Ladies, which the house from Full House is one of those.
Right. So at the end of the day, like, it's an incredible historical city. The food was all right, even though it's expensive.
I like the food.
Chinatown was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely go back.
The views were incredible. The skyline was incredible. The city wasn't as dirty as they say it was. It's about any city that size is going to have all those problems. I mean, so definitely, California has some great cities, and San Francisco is a great place. Stop telling people it sucks.
Number 7, Los Angeles isn't scary. Birmingham is scary.
Right. You know, like Detroit is scary. St. Louis is scary. Look, all you gotta do is look at crime rates, and you know that Los Angeles is about average for U.S. cities. So, like, people from California always tell people, man, I'm from LA, dog. I'm from the hood, dog, man. Portraying like Los Angeles is this horrendous place. No, it's not. Like, Detroit will do it like 8 times more every single year.
I've been to Kensington. Kensington is scarier.
Right, Kensington and Philadelphia, no doubt.
Number 8, homeless people in other places are definitely scary. I've been to Plant City, Florida, and there's a homeless man that's wheels a sword around in the Starbucks parking lot.
Yeah, homeless people in California is a lifestyle choice. Homeless people in like New Mexico or Florida have lost their absolute mind. So don't think that homeless people like in Kensington, Philadelphia, or Ohio can't pull a 12-foot sword out of their baby diapers and completely ruin your day.
Homeless people in Florida willingly swim with alligators.
Right, and then the alligators are the ones that are scared. When you see these clips of alligators breaking into people's homes in Florida, it's because a homeless guy like broke into their lake and they're like, you know what, it's time to get up out of here. Our homeless people here are not hippies, they're not hipsters, they're not cool, they're not surfing, they are on freaking cloud 9.
They're definitely on something.
I love to see people like in Priuses thinking that they're gonna help homeless people in Florida, only to find out that their head's about to get bitten off.
Yeah. You've had that happen at Fort Myers Beach.
I think I still have a fungal infection on my head from that one.
Number 9, road rage turns into roadkill.
You know, you like flick people off and honk the horn in California. Like, please don't try that in Louisiana or Arkansas or any other open carry state. Like, if a state requires you to open carry, it's not even like you're allowed to, it's like you're required to or something. Don't ever go to one of those like backward states and think you're gonna flick off a guy in an F-950 and you're not gonna be like,
you're gonna end up visiting a taxidermist.
yeah, there's gonna be some like redneck like, look at him, that's a 3-point Californian right there. I got him off of Highway 66. Man, I don't even know how you got that third finger in there. He must have been trying to take a picture or something. And this is not a joke. Like, I'm dead serious about this. I heard a story when I first moved to Alabama about a guy who had his windshield broken by a guy. Then he called the cops, and the cops gave him a ticket for having a disabled windshield. And then since this windshield was disabled, the cops had the car towed away. And when he tried to get his car back, it was the same dude that broke the windshield that was at the towing company. So that's how those small towns work. Then there were parts missing from the car. So again, what are you going to do? Call a cop again who's buddies with the same tow truck driver? They went to high school together. Try telling the cop in one of those small little towns that his buddy that he went to high school with is a thief. You're going to end up in a lot more trouble than what you already are in. I'm not kidding with you. Some redneck pulls a 12 out and busts out your windshield. That's not something they're going to investigate in a small town. They're going to be more interested in the Californian than they are going to be in your broken windshield.
Number 10, learn how to listen.
Right, because the craziest thing that I've seen about Californians when they move to other states is that people will tell them straight up how something works and they still won't listen. On top of that, people in the South don't speak directly and they don't take very kindly to passive aggressive behavior. I almost flipped out in Venice, California because the people at the front desk were being passive aggressive. There's one thing about people in California that they just don't get is that you cannot be passive aggressive with people from the South or even like the central part of the country. They're not going to take to it very kindly. And if somebody gives you a warning, or even not even gives you a warning, somebody just gives you a hint, you need to learn how to listen better. Well, one of the biggest things about people from California is that they are so hard-headed, they don't listen. They think it's okay, and they don't understand that when you run into somebody from the South, they're not going to pull up with that. I literally almost had 2 people fired in California. While I was there, I got 2 refunds. And please believe that we blew this crap out of proportion. And people from California just don't understand that they can't do that type of behavior. And when you tell them,
they don't listen.
They don't listen. But here I am telling you right now, give you an example of how people talk in the South. Hey, Larry, you know, it's been raining a lot lately. it's been raining a lot lately means you need to mow your grass. So people in South, they're not even going to tell you directly that you need to mow your grass. They're going to give you a hint. They're going to give you a clue. That's why you just need to listen better. And this skill may not be useful in California, but that type of behavior will get you nowhere in the South, other parts of the country. You're going to have to listen. If you want to be successful on this coast over here, you're going to have to listen very carefully, not be as hard-headed, and avoid passive-aggressive behavior, because it will get you into a world of trouble, and you're going to find yourself burning down a lot of bridges unnecessarily. You might think that an electrician hanging up the phone on you may not be a big problem, but that electrician is going to let everybody in that town know that those new Californians that moved in ain't worth crap, think their poop don't stink. And when you start calling companies around, when they see your phone number, they're already going to start to avoid you, and you're going to wonder why nobody's answering the phone, because they try to give you a clue and you didn't listen.
In Alabama, if they give you the price, that's the price. Don't
Right.
haggle with them. Just pay the price.
Yeah, don't ever try to haggle with some of these like small town people.
You don't want to haggle because they're gonna tell their buddies not to work with you.
They're gonna
and you're not
outright
gonna
walk
have
out.
any.
They're gonna outright walk out on you. They're not gonna sit there and argue with you about a price or about something. They're just gonna say it's $800, and if your answer is that's too much money, your answer shouldn't be that's too much money. Your answer should be like, okay, we'll call you back when we're ready. That's how you say no. So don't be like, no, that's too much money, I'm gonna call somebody else. Because if you do that, please believe you're gonna find a dead raccoon inside your mailbox. Luckily, that never happened to us in Alabama.
I'm so glad.
It never did. Like, we tried, like, we knew all these little details, and we still had a hard time. So if you're like a stubborn Californian who doesn't listen to anybody, you're definitely gonna have a hard time. But just know when when you talk on the phone, like, let me give you an example of how not to sound on the phone. Hello, this is Larry.
Hi, Larry. I need to have some work done in my house.
Well, we're kind of busy over here in Airmore County. Who'd you get my phone number from, by the way?
Oh, I got it from Billy.
Oh, Billy down there at the pawn shop?
Yeah.
He's something else, ain't he?
Oh, yeah. He's
All right. Well, I wasn't going to really take care of you, but since you know Billy, I'll stop on by. Just text me your address, and I'll see if I get a chance after the kids' football game on Sunday.
You don't have to worry about that.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. Hi. I found your number on, like, the yellow pages, and, like, are you, like, a plumber?
I'm not taking work right now.
It says here you're Larry and you're a plumber. Like, this thing's like leaking all over the place. I need somebody over here like right now. I'll pay you like a lot of money. Like, I moved here from California. I'm like totally loaded. I'll pay you more money than you like ever seen your whole life.
The voice message you received is full. Please hang up immediately.
Yeah, look, I just called somebody else and they like weren't listening. Like, I have a plumbing emergency right now. Like, you need to get over here like right now, dude.
My name is Miss McCullen. You must address me as that.
We'll send someone right away.
What's this person's name?
Your mother. Well, those are the 10 things you need to know before you leave California. I hope you get to some use for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, tell you what, you go to the town, man. Tell you what.